Well, good afternoon, and thank you for sharing this time with me.
Thank you, Anita.
So tell me your name and what do you do?
So I'm Crystal Berry Roberts. I'm an OBGYN doc with Austin Regional Clinic, and I've been in practice with the group now almost 7 years. So got my bearings in Austin a bit better than I had maybe 3 or 4 years in. So that's where I am career-wise.
And when did you move to Austin?
It was the summer of 2014, because I then started with Austin Regional Clinic in November of 2014. Mhm.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm a Southern girl.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Alabama, and the first thing
Mhm.
people always say is, "You don't have an accent."
Yes, yes. I tell people my dad had a very thick Southern drawl, so I think it was my mom's kind of subconscious. I don't know if she was really fully aware of what she was doing when she was raising us, but there was a lot of correcting going on when we were very small. So there you go.
Yeah,
Look at me back with my family. It shows. There are
yeah.
things I will say that they'll let people know where I'm from.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my kids will be like, I'm on the phone and they're like, "Why are you talking funny?" you know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's like, hey, it's comfy talk, I guess.
Exactly.
So, tell me what life was like growing up.
For me, I think I had a very full childhood and growing up, in that I lived in a neighborhood where I had a relative pretty much on every corner, on the street, aunts up the street, a great aunt around the corner. My grandparents lived in the same neighborhood, and I lived in a two-parent home. And I bring that up specifically because most of the folks that I grew up around did not live in a two-parent home. And so I feel like my family, my immediate family, was more of a model for those that grew up in our community where I had both parents. And so with that, and truly a village around me, I was influenced by a lot of people and had a lot of, I think, guardian angels around me, whether or not I knew what to call them at the time.
Absolutely. So, how did you always know you wanted to be a doctor?
If you ask people that knew me young, they would say yes. I think my activities probably said teacher more than anything. I was always in front of a chalkboard with a makeshift desk wanting to teach somebody something. But if you ask people who grew up with me and say, oh, you don't remember, you talked all the time about being a pediatrician, is what I talked about the most.
So, why did you think being a doctor was your path?
I think it goes, part of it is teaching, part of it is extending a level of care to people that I think I saw growing up in my community where there were shortcomings in that area. And when I went through certain illnesses and challenges with my own family and felt like the folks that were taking care of them could have been doing a better job of taking care of them as the person and not necessarily just the illness, I felt as though I could bring that dimension to my practice and really focus on the full well-being and health of people. And I think that's why medicine spoke to me the most.
Where did you go to school?
I finished my undergrad degree at a smaller liberal arts college, Millsaps College in Jackson, Mississippi. And I people that know the story know that I literally went to high school across the street. I went to that high school at 7th grade. I crossed the street, went to college, crossed the street again, and went to medical school. So I was in the same 2-block radius for about, what is that? 5 plus 4 and another 4 for about 12 to 13 years before I went to NYU to do my internship. So there's a lot of history, a lot of stories, a lot of making that path and that journey right there in that 2-block radius. And then on to NYU for a year, and then Jefferson Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia is where I finished my residency.
What do you like most about your job?
the opportunity to connect with people, and specifically to connect with women in a way that it can't be explained in words. That people come, and when you close that door, they entrust some information to you that they really literally haven't told anyone. And that's why I know it's so much more. I do a lot of breast exams and pap smears and hysterectomies and delivering babies. But when it boils down to it, there's so much more to the person in front of me. And I have the privilege and the honor to meet people who allow me into that space. And that's pretty special.
Back to my questions. What advice would you give your younger self?
My younger self. To believe in myself. If I could go back, and I'll probably get a little emotional when talking about it, because there was a lot of self-doubt along the way. And eventually, you let the doubt that other people place on you begin to define you. And if I could go back, I would teach myself to believe in myself sooner and without question. And it's been a process that I've had to mature into, and not necessarily proud about it, but I've seen the growth I've made in that. And it's a very, I say, tender spot for me to talk about, because that's a truth that in part I'm kind of embarrassed about it at times. But I can see the triumph in it when I look where I am now compared to where I was.
How has it made you a better person? How has your coming to your own truth made you a better person? Better doctor.
And it's interesting because I think people get sidetracked about the career and the accomplishments and the awards, and even being recognized in this arena. You have to get to the point where you can see it in yourself. And I think working through that process for myself has allowed me to connect with other women better, and not see it as, and I say other people better, not see it that my career and what I do has to be in competition with other people, but really an extension of what I can offer to them, what they can offer to me. And I think it's helped me build better relationships with people, because I know that everyone has their story. And if I can connect with them in a way and don't use what I think I know about them, or what I think I know their story is as a limiting factor, then wow, I can really begin to really let people bring something into my life that maybe I haven't experienced before, talked about before, or challenged myself to think about before. So I think it allows me to strengthen relationships, because I close so much off along the way. So it helps me be more open to connecting.
As a Black female physician,
Yes.
what describe your experience?
Well, I'm going to sandwich it. I'm going to think of the sandwich model here. I'm not going to start with I want to start good and end well. What it's meant for me is I don't walk around calling myself a role model. I don't think that's what I do this. That's not my purpose. but I know I am one to people who make me that, whether it's the 10-year-old girl in my church, whether it's the 45-year-old cousin who put her dreams on hold for whatever reason, but was there to support me in mine and really saw herself flourish and grow because she was on the journey with me. As a Black female physician, I look back and I have those bullies along the way, and that's sandwiching the negative, because by far there's been so much more positive. And I think the negative is because I didn't know how to deal with that and how to channel that in a way that I would limit its effects on me. I'm better at doing that now. But thinking back, there are some very clear, identifiable people that I crossed paths with that if they could have had it a different way, they would have. And I'm going to end that sandwiching of thoughts and ideas and my reality in that what is meant for me clearly has been for me. And I do not make light of the opportunity I have to help people, to serve people, and I think to really make a lot of people very proud.
Okay, you gotta stop. You gotta stop this. Wow. Mm. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you something funny
Okay,
to
we'll
change.
take funny. Yeah.
It's one of Tim Ferriss's questions that I took from him. It's what is an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
Unusual habit. I probably need my husband or my kids here to really help me. They'll call me out. They'll tell the truth. They will tell the truth. Crazy thing. I love cotton candy. I do. I love the taffy that you get at the state fair that they get stuck in your teeth and you really shouldn't be eating it. And I think something I just do all the time that is like, why do I do that? Why do I spend my time doing that? I'm the person that will go around in that OCD, checking the portraits on the walls, straightening the corner. I'll be late out the door because the kid knocked the picture sideways and I got to straighten it right then. And my husband's in the background. That's why you're late. You do things that aren't needed right now. And so I think focusing a little bit too much on the small stuff, but indulging in some kid-like desserts and treats that I buy in secret.
I definitely understand. If you had a gigantic billboard anywhere in the world and you could get a message to millions and billions of people, what would that message be?
And that's a big one. And I don't want to, I think my message to anyone, and I say this because I just had a conversation about it with a patient, and it took me back to dealing with loss and grief. And I don't want to we're not gonna cry. We're not gonna shed a tear in this. We're not gonna do it. But I think it's live life laughing as much as you can. There are times I wish I laughed more. And I'm hoping I give myself this talk, and this is where I pull in. I talk to the patient and I thought back about dealing with loss in my life, that I hope if I am faced with a challenge that I know will be the thing that takes me out of here, that I face that challenge with just as much grace and laughter as I try to live my life. I went through that process with my father, and to see us journey together through what we knew was inevitable, I hope I have beauty to hold on to 20 years later. And to me, my billboard would say, live a life of laughter and love, and face the challenges with a smile, and knowing that you can still make awesome memories in the midst of those challenges. It's a lot of words for a billboard. We can make it fit.
We can make it fit, that's for sure. What failure, challenge, or apparent failure has set you up for later success?
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think which one. There's definitely been more than one. I think anyone that works with me or knows, how I got to Austin Regional Clinic, and I don't mind sharing this at all. I won't give, details as far as where my path was headed initially, but a door was like slammed in my face when it came to, coming out of residency, getting a job, and like, I'm on the path, I'm moving to Austin, this is a job I'm going to have. And that door, that carpet was just pulled right from up under me. And I literally was, for all intents and purposes, unemployed. And the way the road and that journey took me, and I ended up at Austin Regional Clinic in a job now, in a career now with them almost 7 years, and doing what I love to do. Doors closing in that moment, did I see it as, oh my gosh, there's something better on the other side? Absolutely not. My reality checker, my husband, is the one that grounded me and said, there's something better for you. And I've been allowed and able to grow and thrive in my practice at a rate that I could not have foreseen. And to me, that's when a door shutting, or what I thought was failure, opening up opportunity after opportunity, and I didn't have to lift a finger, so to speak.
Yeah, I had some things happen around that same time period, and I remember, wondering at the time, why, and because it just didn't make sense. I thought my life was great, everything was working out, and then you get this like loss. I just had a season of loss. And, I
Right.
thought it was like the worst thing in the world in my life. And, my life was over. And
Right.
you go through that whole thing of trying to regain the life that you had. And
Yes.
then you finally have to come to grips with, it's a new life, and, and it's a new day. And like now, like my wake up song is Nina Simone. This was a new day. It's a new, that
Yes. Yes. Yes.
because it's like it truly is a new day. And it was like, once I recognized that the loss was meant to be, even though it
Yeah.
hurt, and I didn't understand it, I didn't get it, and I
Right.
can't say that I even accepted it, or still to this day accept it.
Yeah.
But the path and the journey that I'm on now, it's, again, just like you said, it's not a path or a journey that I would have foreseen for myself. But when you look back at it, when I look back at it, I look at it and I see that it's still things that I asked for God. I asked God to give me a long time ago. And so I've learned that, be careful what you ask God for,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
he will give you exactly what you want, but you may not be prepared to receive it.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's in this, it comes back to like, now how dare I complain? How dare I, question, should I be here? Should I be doing this? This is what I'd hoped for, asked for, we prayed for.
Yeah.
And now ask the questions. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And, and I hear people also, I mean, I had some, I felt like traumatic things happened to me in my life. And, people would say, oh, well, I wouldn't share that. And it's like, yeah, but that's my life, you know,
Yeah.
because I had to go through that in order to get to where I am today. And, now would I want to go through it again? Probably not,
Not
but but I recognize that, God sometimes, I mean, I'm a hard-headed kid. I'm hard-headed. My mom used to say all the time, hard, you hard-headed. You don't listen. And even when it's staring you in the face, this is the path you're supposed to take. I feel like I know better. And I will tell you, God will change your direction
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Yep. Because looking, there, if the path had gone a certain way, and I can kind of better see where things may, have been had it taken that particular turn. And I said, thank you for saving me from myself, because I think I know it. I think I know the plan. And I've been proven wrong time and time again that I don't know the plan.
Yeah,
I'm along for this ride,
exactly.
make the decisions I can along the way.
Exactly.
And I think trying not to turn a blind eye or deaf ear to when something is saying this what you think is meant to be isn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Follow me over here.
Yeah. And the strange thing that I found was that during that time of loss for me, that season that I was going through,
Mhm.
I was so angry with God that I
Mhm.
couldn't even pray for myself.
Mm.
I refused because I was so angry. And
Mhm.
later on, I was talking to a friend, and she was saying to me, and we were driving the car, and she said, Anita, because she was saying, oh, you'll be fine, but she's going through the, everything got, everything's going to be
Right.
great. I'm like, everything's not great. And she was like, Anita, she said, when you were in Afghanistan, she said, my family and I, every single, like, what did she say? It was like Wednesday, or she was
Huh?
like, we fasted and prayed
Mhm.
every
Mhm.
week.
Right.
And I was like, what? I didn't ask you to do that. And
Right.
so then you recognize that, like you said, not for your own self, right?
Mhm.
Somebody
Mhm.
else is doing the will of God for you,
Oh yeah.
laying the path for you that you don't
Yeah.
even know.
Right. Right.
So that's it's amazing. It's amazing. So sometimes, it's not what we ask for. It's sometimes somebody else is thank God is they're praying for us. And
Right.
I know, when I wasn't, my mother, my grandmother, and then, my mother passed away, I had this friend and her family, and it was just, it floored me. It floored me,
Yeah.
but it grounded me back to
Right.
recognize that people that you don't even know, sometimes, or,
Right.
don't even, she's a great friend to me. But I just, it
Yeah.
was just remarkable. I thought it was remarkable, and it helped me to get back on track for
On
sure.
track. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made?
Hmm. I haven't, for anyone who's done any graduate training, and when we're talking finances, my biggest ticket is like, oh my God, student loans, investments. Oh, what does that mean? What am I doing there? Yes, I have some, I'm on a better trajectory. I know, I'm planning for some things, but I think for me, when I think of an investment in my success, and I am not as ashamed to say it now as I have been in the past, but I really struggled with standardized testing. And that was a huge part of my medical training. And I definitely have a soft spot for others, pre-med students, medical students who it may not be their strong suit either. So one of my biggest investments was I invested whatever I needed to, time, finances, time off from work, to make sure that I passed my boards when it came to being certified as an OBGYN. I know that that's a huge, it matters to maintain my job. It matters to maintain my credibility in the community. And I did. And I look back and I was like, wow, I invested a lot in that. But it was, I'd done things in the past where I had to retake it. I failed it. at some of the other testing along the way. And this was the one. And I said, I will not. I will not. I am so close. I have done all this time, all these years, and I will be a board certified OBGYN on the first go round. And that's the best investment in myself that I've made in this journey to ensure my success with that, and passed it on the first time.
Absolutely. What purchase of $100 or less has positively impacted your life over the last 6 months or recent memory?
$100 or less. I'd say a massage, maybe a massage, but I've really gotten into kind of more mindfulness types of, it's not really a seminar, but like a session. It's like a small group session. You pay, you go, and part of it is spa things, but really trying to connect deeper with things to balance out the stress of the day-to-day. And it doesn't, a lot of times doesn't cost much to do it, but I feel like I told a partner of mine that when I do it, I get some tools that allow me to ride the wave above the stress, at least for about maybe 2-3 months if I stretch it out. But it just gets my mind to how to deal with things better and move on from the things I can't change, I can't control. And that to me is a good investment without having to spend a lot of money to do it. So mindfulness training and ways of approaching my life and the day-to-day stress.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or have lost your focus, what do you do to get back to center?
It's kind of more of kind of maybe piggybacking off of the last answer I provided. I am real honest, and I'm thankful that I'm allowed to be honest with my husband when I say, I need to step away. I need to, because you all aren't getting the best of me. My kids aren't, he isn't, my kids aren't, my mother isn't. If she calls me up, I'm short with her on the phone, all those things. And so if that means, hey, kids go here, you go, I don't know, hotel room for one night, just go do that. A massage, go do that. Or just a day where I'm not going to judge how many bags you bring in the house. If you need some retail therapy, I'm not going to judge you. Just go do it. You don't have to hide the stuff in the car for a day or two and try and sneak it in. Just go do what you need to do and hit reset and let me know if it worked or not.
Over the last few years, what have you become better at saying no to? And this of course is it's still the same for COVID, but definitely pre-COVID, saying no to engagements and things where I don't want to spend time with people who I know are the conversations, the things that they're focusing on, the things that they think are very important are really not in line with what's important to me. Or, I don't want to waste my time and spend my time in that arena. So I want to spend time with people who want to spend time with me. And so I've gotten much better at saying no, thank you. I don't want to go on that girls' trip. I don't want to meet you for dinner, but thank you for the invitation. Absolutely. What life lessons have you learned?
I remember someone saying, or heard it until I don't know where I heard it from now, to be honest, but that there was something about turning 40 that just is like, oh, I know what it was. It's talking about someone writing like an autobiography. And it's like, hey, I don't know if you can really write an autobiography before the age of 40, you haven't really seen enough, done enough, that, that type of thing. And I don't know if that, I'm not saying if that's true or not, if I believe that or not, but I just think at this point in my life, I can really stand taller and firmer in life is too short. Life is too short. And I think the life lessons are the relationships, the interactions, the things that drain you. Why give it time? Why give it space? And that's from personal life, I think, to work life as well. I'm definitely learning better how to balance when my doctor-patient relationship isn't, where I think it needs to be, and it isn't in being helpful for the patient. Let's be upfront and honest about that. And let me get them to someone who's going to be a great fit for them, so that I can give all that I can to those who connect with me. Those are the connections, personally and professionally, is what I'm finding life is teaching me. How do I get to that so that I can give the best of me to people who are ready to receive the best that I have to offer? And if I fall short, make a mistake, miss something, they still value what they've built with me to still stick around, like me, love me, see me, whatever the case may be.
What are you most proud of?
I think I'm just proud of the woman that I am being allowed to continue to become and evolve into. And that woman is a daughter to someone, a mother to someone, a sister, a wife. And when I look in the mirror and I see the woman staring back, all the mistakes or shortcomings, they don't shine as bright anymore. I've been able to turn the light down on that. Just say, you know what? Thank you for letting me be all that it is, the dark circles around my eyes, the brown spots on my face, the hair that may be thinning, whatever the case may be. I know that I'm being the best I can be for the people that matter to me most.
What do you see as your place or your purpose?
I hope when someone, and I want to answer it from the perspective of what I hope someone sees in me to define that place for me, because what matters to me most, I shy away from ever putting myself on some pedestal and this is what I should be. But I think if someone could see that if you want authentic truth, empathy, letting you be who you are, let me be who I am. If you want that, then I'm okay with that being the place for me, to be the person who tells you the truth. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to give it to you in the package that you wanted given in. That if you want that, you probably need to go ask someone else. That's the place I want. That's the place I want to hold for somebody, to be respected, and what I have to say be understood as genuine, well-meaning, whether it comes out into you the way that you would like it to be. It may hurt a little sometimes. It may make you smile. It may make you laugh. But you would still respect me the same at the end of the day. I'd like that place.
What's your superpower?
It's funny because if you asked me a different day, I probably would say something different. But I think in another life, maybe I could be a plastic surgeon. if I wanted to do all the training and really commit to that. But I think my a superpower is I like to put things back together very neatly. A little bit of that OCD, changing the picture on the wall, making it perfect. And I think that's one thing. Okay. But getting away from that and really to me as a person and core of who I am, I think my superpower honestly is to connect with people in a way that they don't know why they're opening up to me, but they do. And it's worked on so many levels in my career. It worked when I took a hiatus from medicine and was trying to like make ends meet and work. And we're refurbing furniture and I'm selling these ideas to people before they even see the finished product. I could sell them the idea and they pay me for it. And then they see the product 2 weeks later. I think that is my superpower. Connecting with people.
You have kids, right?
I do.
How would your kids describe you?
Mommy's not the fun one. Daddy's the fun one. That's how they would describe me. But no, I think they would, aside from that, or the reverse is, Daddy, you don't know the answer. Only mommy knows that answer. So I think they do consider their mom to be smart, not as fun as they would like her to be at times. But when I do, they light up and really take advantage of the laughter when it comes out of my mouth. So.
What are you most proud of?
I'm proud of speaking things into the universe at least 30 years ago and seeing those things come to fruition. That, I want to be able to set my family on a different path, just in life. And of course, be married and have children and people that are little people that are extension of me. And I think I'm proud of, my marriage, my stronger relationship, with some of my friends and my family. And just proud of the opportunity to shape 2 little people and, hope for the best. Not going to get it right all the time. But trying really hard to set a really good example for them.
Who's your favorite person?
Wow. Depends on who's going to see this. Let's see. What do I say? Who do I not make mad today? My favorite person when I'm trying to think, can I give one person that much? I don't know. Can I come back to that one?
How do you give back?
Aside from, like I said, investing and supporting organizations in the community and nonprofits, whether it be, Black Mamas Austin, whether it's Impact Austin, whether it's a school for girls that one of my younger cousins has up and running back in Jackson, Mississippi, and reaching out to her and saying, how can I help? I think part of, giving back is not forgetting and always looking for opportunities. It doesn't have to be an organization, but I've just heard of, something not going well for someone being down on their luck. And I don't have to know them. They don't have to be related to me, but always keeping my ears open for ways to give back on a very individual and personal basis, in addition to the organizational things. But when I can see what I give mean that someone gets to, keep their kids housed and not wondering where they're going to stay next in the next week or next 2 days. To me, that's pretty special on a smaller but very big scale.
What do you, I think I asked you that one. How do you want to be remembered once you're gone?
Yeah. That put a lump in my throat. Oh, wow. You know, and I'm going to say this, there's a part of me like, am I going to be remembered? I've asked myself that question. I've done so many, it's like, man, if something happened, if I died tomorrow, like who would come to the funeral? Like, I don't know, like all my, you know, the friendships and things along the way, a lot got put on hold with career things and living further away and not moving, you know, back to where I grew up. And so part of my fear is who the hell is going to show up? Okay. But if there's no one to show up, but they just read the obituary and think about me, I hope they'll think that, you know what? She always said she would do X, Y, or Z, and she followed through. She's a woman of her word, and she has that staying power, that sticking it out power. And man, she did not give up. And look what she was able to accomplish because she did it. I hope they would see that.
You know, what I know for sure is that, you know, my mom never said she was proud of me. She never told me, right?
Mhm.
And when she passed, I told my aunt this, and she goes, "What are you talking about?" She goes,
Mhm.
and she would say all these things, and she's like, "Every time your mom carried a picture, because I work for Obama, carried the
Uh-huh.
picture of Obama that because he autographed the photo
Uh-huh.
and you know, and so she was just like, and so she was saying all these things, and it's like, what I learned was that you never know who takes credit for your success.
Yeah.
And it's usually not the people that you think it's going to
There
be.
you- yeah.
So,
I will, yes, I will take heed to that. Absolutely.
who's your favorite person?
My favorite person, I think was one of my grandmothers. She's no longer living, but I just look back and she didn't take no stuff off of nobody. Okay. And it was, and I think, and she wasn't that I'm going to say I'm proud of you, but I'm going to do everything you need me to do. I'm going to wake you up. I'm going to cook you a big breakfast, make sure your belly's full. You're to school on time. Your mom had to leave the house at 4 a.m. to go to work. You don't go to school till 7. I have you for 3 hours and I love you so much. I'm going to do all of these things and then some. And you come home and dinner's ready and your bath is given when your mom and dad get off, you know, 10, 12 hours later. And I just saw her give and give and give over and over and over to so many people and never accepting money, never accepting, you know, any form of payment for it, and really just give to the bone, you know. And we would have some conversation. She would let me do some things that I couldn't tell my parents that she let me do. She was a black coffee drinker, straight dark, no sugar, no nothing. And if I wanted a sip that morning, I got a sip. And some other things I will not see in this video. Okay, but I'm pretty sure people can guess what goes with coffee in the mornings with a grandmother. And it just is, we had that bond. And what's interesting is she wasn't my biological grandmother. But anyone who saw me with her, I looked just like her. It was like she was so much a part of me that's that foundational 5-year-old and 6-year-old stuff that you just recognize one day that you're a ball of a lot of people. That's my favorite person.
What's her name?
Mildred Hatfield. We called her Teary. We had no idea where that nickname came from. Everybody had a nickname growing up.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was, everybody had a nickname, but Mildred Hatfield.
What's the best place you've ever lived?
Best place I ever lived. And I think, and it's crazy because I hadn't lived for anyone. I told you where, like, school wise, right? So I lived 20 plus years of my life in Jackson, Mississippi, which, you know, definitely that's where I'm from. A lot to be remembered and thankful for there. I think just, you know, culturally though, and being able to really become more well-rounded in the arts and things that I was able to do and travel a little bit more is being in Philadelphia by far. I've, you know, never lived outside the country, but I think that hub, I lived in New York, but I think the pace of Philadelphia was a better mix for me coming from Mississippi, and then doing New York with pulling back and kind of having not so much the fast pace of New York, but it was within a throw. I could get there. I could get to DC. I could get to just really a different way of experiencing life and culture. And so I had a really, really good time living there, and brought some things back and want to go back, and just hadn't had time to, but I really enjoyed it.
What's your favorite book or book you'd recommend?
Oh man, and that's one of those other things that's gotten like placed on hold that I've kind of gotten back into. There's some things, you know, behind me here, and I'd say if I could just say an author, because I have a couple of his works here, and it's Eddie Glaude, Glaude, Eddie Glaude Jr. Yep, I was going to say senior, junior, and I think he appealed to me because he's a Mississippi native, and of course, he's been featured a lot in the past year and a half, just with things that are going on, you know, in our world socially. But things, I have his book behind me now called Begin Again, and he looked, you know, at other authors and their lives, and just looking at life through the lens of a lot of special African Americans. And so I'm trying to get back to finishing things, but I've started a little snippets here and there, depending on what day it is.
What do you enjoy doing in your leisure time?
Yard work. And it's like leisure time. I know how leisure is, and I'm so sorry. I knew it was gonna happen. My dog is barking. That is really distracting. I'm sorry. I know. Hold on 1 second.
And my dog's listening like, what? Where's that? Where's the dog?
All right. Sorry about that. Your question to me was
Leisure time.
leisure time. Yard work, yes.
Yes.
And when I say yard work, it is, yes, I will get on the riding lawnmower. The edging is left to me. So my husband he tries it and he goes, it's not good enough. Again, the pictures on the wall, there's a theme here. And so I like to drive up to the driveway and see that perfect line that I made. It's satisfying.
What does it mean to be chosen as our top 10 doctor for 2021?
It means for me that an organization, that someone is taking the time to recognize a group of us that if we didn't have certain outlets to do it, we may go unnoticed. So I don't make light of it at all. That, it's like, well, why does it have to be Black, top doctors? And I know the questions like that come. And it's, if we don't celebrate each other, it's very easy for the hospital awards and all the other group awards to really go lacking when it comes to color. So thank you.
Yeah, when I first was talking to one of my mentors about doing this, and she said, well, you might need to do like 3 or 5 because I don't think you'll have enough each year. I said, well, you
Mhm.
know what? I'm gonna bet on my people. I'm gonna bet on them because I think you're wrong on that one. And she goes,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, so our last first one, she was just like, oh my God, where did all these Black doctors come
Yeah.
from?
Right.
Where did all these
Right.
Black lawyers come?
Right. Right. We're
Yeah,
out there.
it's amazing. It's amazing. So that was my last question. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think we've covered a broad spectrum.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know ARC has already got a couple tables for you guys, so I look
Okay.
forward to seeing you guys on the 20th.
Okay.
All right.
Same here.
All right. You take
Sounds good.
care, and thank you
All
again
right.
for sharing your story.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.